Imagine starting a joke without knowing the punchline. You probably wouldn't, or you'd only do it once because you need to know the structure of the whole story, including the punchline, before you start. Or if you build a house, you can get excited about the drapes and the color you're going to paint your living room, but you can't just put up a couple of walls and start painting. Your building needs a foundation first. You may not be able to see the foundation, but it holds the whole thing together. And just like the structure of a joke or a building, a painting also needs a structure in the same way to hold everything together. You can't start thinking about the foundation of your house or your painting halfway in. It needs to be thought of right from the start, and it is integrated organically into the whole. Let me give you an example. Look at this photo, in particular, those trees and bushes in the midground and background, and then at this student drawing of the same photo. It's expressive, but the student hasn't really seen those trees. It's just a jungle of marks. And that's also how they would probably translate that into paint. They'd get buried in painting and repainting, trying to make sense of it. Now look at this drawing. Same student, same image, and just 2 weeks later. Now, I'm not saying, wow, great drawing, but notice now you can see the structure, forms in space, one overlapping the next, creating the illusion of depth. We can read it now. I think you could imagine translating those forms into paint. That student now sees the scene in terms of structures and forms in space. And that's in 2 weeks. Let's look at another student drawing from before taking my course, Mastering Composition, and then at the end, 6 weeks later. This before drawing is pretty typical of a lot of student drawings. They catalog all the details they see. And in this case, it's all the bricks, all the piano keys, and that parquet flooring. They hope that all those details, if they put them in, will add up to a painting. And now 6 weeks later, that same student is seeing like a painter. Now they're seeing in shapes, value shapes of light and dark. Yes, they have learned drawing skills, but just as important, there's been a change here in how they actually are seeing the world. Liz Seaborn of Santa Fe, New Mexico said, absolutely the best course I've ever taken. I finally really learned how to see. My name is Ian Roberts, and in my experience, and I've been teaching painting courses and workshops for over 30 years, most students' paintings are ruined before the brush even gets to the canvas or paper. Why? Because the painting has no structure. They haven't thought about a foundation to build the painting on. They see a barn, say, and some trees and some clouds, and start painting and end up halfway through just getting bogged down and unsure how to proceed, or finding themselves working, reworking, and ultimately overworking painting after painting. It's discouraging and frustrating, right? And if you get discouraged with your painting practice, you think the problem's you. Oh, I have no talent, or I'm not creative enough. But I don't think it has anything to do with that. You're talented and creative enough. All these problems are caused primarily because of not thinking about composition, about the structure of your painting before you start to paint. In painting, the foundation or structure is the composition, the design. Thinking about composition first gives you a roadmap of where you're headed. You can see what to simplify, what to leave out. Do that first, and your success rate will soar, and your confidence will soar. Creating that shift here in seeing in terms of shapes and compositional structure is the number one skill that will dramatically improve your painting. And the most efficient and effective way to learn to do this is to put down your brushes and paint and draw. Now, I imagine some of you avoid drawing because you feel the skills aren't there. At least with paint and brushes, you feel like a painter. As one student said to me, but my drawings, they look like chicken scratches. But what would you say if I said I could teach you to draw in a month? Not master it like Raphael. I mean, I'm still improving as a draftsman, but rather that drawing becomes a functional and enjoyable part of your artistic practice. And you might say, well, yeah, I'm not so sure. But look at this. Before the course, you can sort of read it, maybe, but it isn't easy to see what it is. And then 6 weeks later, in terms of a compositional structure using value shapes. Looking at the drawing, you'd say, okay, this person now has a pretty good chance of translating that into paint. They've seen and understood what they're looking at. Deborah Sweeney of Seattle, Washington said, I have never learned so much and improved so much in my art journey. The course is transformational. And here's another student drawing before the course, and then again 6 weeks later. You can see before the course they've drawn bushes and trees, but it's not very convincing or interesting. And after the course, 6 weeks later, they are one, seeing in value shapes, shapes of light and dark, which is the foundation of representational painting. But two, notice now they are seeing the whole drawing as an engaging compositional structure, meaning they are now guiding the viewer's eye through the whole drawing. They structured that idea before they began the drawing. Robert Henry, who wrote The Art Spirit, said all good art is composition. Deciding on a good compositional structure is like having a roadmap of where you're going or a blueprint of what you're about to create. Now, a good compositional structure doesn't guarantee that you'll create a masterpiece, but a poor composition will almost certainly guarantee that you'll end up disappointed with your painting. Here's another student before the course and just 6 weeks later, and you can see the dramatic improvement. During the course, you will feel this shift. That is a universal comment from students on the course. Ruby Ajani of Boston, Massachusetts said, I expected the course would be good, but I'm completely blown away with the improvement in my work. The blunt truth is, if you can't solve what you're looking at with a pencil, you probably won't solve it in paint. Painting is just drawing with a brush. This course is for beginners who just want to learn to draw, all the way to experienced professionals, because the more you know about painting, the more you know the importance of composition. I've designed this course to be the most efficient and effective way to improve as a painter. It's proven, and I guarantee it. And by the end of the course, you will come to love drawing as a deeply meditative and engaging practice, and you'll know how to use it to explore your ideas before you paint. You can ignore the idea of building sound compositional structure now, but you'll just be facing it later, perhaps halfway through your next painting. Thinking about composition before you start to paint will save you so much time and heartache in the end. Compositional structure forms the basis of every painting you do, whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not. If you have a weak composition, it's sort of incidental whether you're using oils or watercolor, what style you want to paint in, or what genre. Most students are in a hurry, impulsive, paint now, think later. This course will slow you down, so you learn to edit, simplify, distill. It will embed the fundamental skills you need to succeed as a painter. I have hundreds of testimonials from the course, but let me share just 3 with you for now. William Daly of Dallas, Texas said, I went to school to study art and received my Bachelor of Fine Art. This course was by far the best class I've ever taken. Helen Slater of Yorkshire, England said, To be able to pass on so much knowledge in such a short space of time is remarkable. And finally, Jody Schuster of Toronto, Canada, the kind of teaching I've been seeking for decades. The course is 6 weeks long. I only teach the course once a year, this year starting April 18th. If the idea of this course resonates with you or you just want more information, here's what to do next. In the gray box directly below this video, it says to find out more, click here. Click on that link. Or you can go to that little white box up there, or you can go to my website, ianroberts.com. There I outline the course in more detail, how it works, why it works, the lesson plan, the dates, the price, and the amount of time you'll have to devote to it each week. I'll show you more student before and after drawings and how they all improved dramatically in 6 weeks. But before you go, let me share one more idea with you. When you start a new painting, you're excited, right? You've got fresh color and a fresh canvas or paper and a new idea. And when you start, and I hear this all the time from students, time stands still. I'm in the zone. This is my refuge, until things slowly start to bog down or go off the rails again. But let me say right here, and I think it's important, you're called to this arena of painting. You're drawn to this for a reason. It may be a small voice, but you would not be here listening to this video unless you were called. You want to do it. You don't necessarily know why, but I can tell you after a lifetime of painting, I don't know why, but I know it's real. And that attention given to that quiet pull to express yourself connects you to the deep, quiet, inner core of who you really are. And I think it's important to honor it. It is so simple, as we all know, to have endless distractions pull us away from that. In my experience, art anchors me with something deep and meaningful in my life and a way to connect with it and express it. It gives my life purpose. Sue Rink from Hawaii said, "This is definitely the best art course I've ever taken. You have no idea what an impact this has had on my life." And Donna Stern of Bloomington, Indiana said, "Yes, it dramatically changed how I approach my painting, but also the course fed my soul. It inspired my spirit." If you'd like to learn to dramatically improve your painting, I invite you to join me for my online course, Mastering Composition. In 2 days, I'll be posting another short 10-minute video on the 5 principles you need to master anything. And I think you'll find some very useful content there for how to improve as an artist, but really for how to master anything. So to find out more on the course Mastering Composition and how it will dramatically improve your painting, click on the link below. I'll see you in 2 days on Thursday, April 9th for the next video, How to Master Anything. I hope you'll join me. My very best wishes. All the best. And bye for now.